Today, we're exposing 5 cycling brands that are absolutely robbing you blind and revealing 5 that are actually worth your money. Let's go over the gear draining your wallet. Number 10. CeramicSpeed. The oversized pulley wheel system is what happens when a marketing department achieves total victory over amateur cyclists. The promise sounds like a mechanical cheat code. Install larger derailleur wheels, reduce the chain articulation angle, and instantly unlock free speed. It is an intoxicating pitch, which is exactly why their flagship OSPW system commands a staggering retail price of $500 to $600. But the uncomfortable reality hidden behind the gold-plated jockey wheels and slick Instagram ads tells a completely different story. Independent laboratory friction testing consistently proves that upgrading from a standard factory Shimano Ultegra or Dura Ace pulley to a CeramicSpeed OSPW saves you exactly 2.4 watts of power. To put that into perspective, for a normal amateur cyclist pushing a respectable 200 watts on a Sunday group ride, a 2.4-watt saving represents a microscopic 1.2% improvement in drivetrain efficiency. It is a mathematical rounding error that is completely invisible to the human body. Yet, weekend warriors are convinced to shell out the equivalent of a new smart trainer just to upgrade a tiny derailleur cage. The markup on these ceramic bearings and machined aluminum is astronomical, with manufacturing costs sitting at a tiny fraction of the retail tag. CeramicSpeed pours millions into professional triathlete sponsorships, but on your local ride, it does absolutely nothing but drain your wallet. You aren't buying mechanical efficiency, you are buying a $500 placebo for your derailleur. Number 9. Rapha. This brand is a masterclass in how cycling heritage gets packaged, polished, and sold at an eye-watering premium. For years, Rapha built its name on the romantic illusion of being a bespoke, underground British boutique for the cycling elite. Today, a pair of their Pro Team bib shorts will easily cost you $295. But the modern reality of Rapha is less about the gritty spirit of the peloton and more about corporate portfolio management. In 2017, the brand was quietly acquired for £200 million by RZC Investments. Who runs RZC? Stuart and Tom Walton, the billionaire heirs to the Walmart fortune. The grassroots, independent heritage you think you are buying has long been absorbed into a massive private equity firm. Despite the massive price tag, the base Lycra and chamois pads used in their mid-tier and premium lines perform identically to competitors, charging literally half the price. The gap between what you pay and what you get is padded entirely by branding, sleek monochrome marketing, and an artificial sense of exclusivity. Rapha relies heavily on its cycling club membership to foster a tribal loyalty that blinds buyers to the actual cost-to-performance ratio of the garments. The fabrics don't make you noticeably faster, and the delicate aero materials often pill after a few harsh washes. You aren't buying elite aerodynamics, you are buying a country club uniform to look rich at the Sunday coffee ride. Number 8. Pinarello Dogma F. This is the quiet robbery of the premium frame market, built entirely on the Italian heritage illusion. The 2024 and 2025 Dogma F frameset alone carries a terrifying sticker price of $6,950, with fully built models effortlessly passing the $14,000 mark. Pinarello leans heavily into its history, dripping with Italian romance and decades of Tour de France glory. But let's look at the unpainted truth behind the curtain. Despite the massive heritage premium baked into that sticker price, the raw Toray carbon fiber frames are actually molded and manufactured in Taiwan, sitting in factories right alongside mid-tier, budget-friendly consumer bikes. They are simply shipped back to Treviso, Italy, for paint and final assembly just to legally keep the prestigious European badge on the top tube. Furthermore, an unpainted Dogma F frame weighs in at roughly 865 grams. In the era of modern superbikes, that is noticeably heavier than nearly every other elite climbing competitor on the market. Pinarello spends tens of millions of dollars sponsoring Team Ineos, funding their wind tunnel testing, and putting their bikes under Olympic champions. Those massive marketing costs are baked directly into the retail price of every single frame you buy. The gap between the Taiwanese manufacturing cost and the $14,000 register receipt is pure brand taxation. You aren't buying modern innovation. You are personally subsidizing Team Ineos's racing budget and paying a premium for an Italian flag sticker. Number 7. Trek and their in-house component brand, Bontrager. This represents the ultimate proprietary ecosystem trap, mimicking the Apple business model to hold your wallet hostage long after the initial purchase. When you buy a high-end Trek Madone SLR, you aren't just buying a bicycle. You are locking yourself into a closed circuit of proprietary parts designed to drain you on maintenance. Let's say you have a minor crash and crack your handlebars, or perhaps you just need a 10mm longer stem to properly dial in your bike fit. On a standard modular bike, you could buy a high-quality replacement from a third party for $60. But Trek forces you to use their proprietary Aero RSL integrated handlebar and stem combo. The retail price for that single piece of carbon? An eye-watering $699.99. Because of the proprietary internal cable routing, you cannot easily swap in a cheaper alternative. You are forced to pay Trek's extortionate replacement prices, plus the massive mechanic labor fees required to painstakingly reroute hydraulic brake hoses through their highly specific headsets. Trek disguises this hostility as aerodynamic integration, but it is actually a strategy to guarantee future revenue. Once the initial sale is made, they completely own your repair process. The bike becomes a subscription service disguised as premium sports equipment. You aren't buying a faster bicycle, you are buying a captive subscription to Trek's proprietary repair ecosystem. Number 6. The specialized S-Works tax. This is the purest distillation of the logo markup in modern cycling, creating a ridiculous artificial price gap between great and elite to extract maximum profit. Let's look at the raw data for the specialized Tarmac SL8. The standard Tarmac frameset, made with their Fact 10R carbon, retails for a very premium $3,500. The Elite S-Works version, made with Fact 12R carbon, demands a staggering $5,500. Here is what they desperately don't want you to think about. The aerodynamic tube shapes, the frame geometry, the stiffness profile, and the wind tunnel drag data are 100% identical. The only physical difference is the carbon layup. The S-Works frame weighs 685 grams, while the standard frame weighs 780 grams. The total difference is exactly 95 grams. To put that into perspective, 95 grams is the exact equivalent weight of half a sip of water from your cycling bidon. Specialized is literally charging you a $2,000 premium for a weight difference you can sweat out in the first 10 minutes of your ride. When you buy a complete S-Works build, this psychological markup pushes the final receipt to an absurd $14,000. Specialized has brilliantly convinced amateur riders that, without the S-Works badge, their bike is somehow inferior. You aren't buying a faster bicycle. You are paying a $5,000 ego tax just to have S-Works painted on your down tube. Now, let's go over the brands actually worth your money. Number 5. Canyon. This German manufacturer is the undisputed king of the direct-to-consumer disruption, mathematically proving exactly how much legacy brands are overcharging you. When you buy a Canyon, you are bypassing the massive distribution networks and cutting out the local bike shop entirely. The financial reality of this model is staggering. A Canyon Aeroed CF SLX8, fully equipped with an electronic Shimano Ultegra Di2 group set and deep section carbon wheels, retails directly from their website for roughly $6,199. To get that exact same electronic shifting and carbon wheel tier from a legacy brand like Trek with their Madone or Specialized with their Tarmac, you have to shell out anywhere from $8,500 to over $9,000. Canyon exposes the ugly truth of the industry. The traditional dealership model forces you to pay a 30 to 40% markup just to cover a local retailer's rent, showroom overhead, and the middleman distributor. And despite the lower price tag, Canyon does not sacrifice performance. Their bikes are engineered in a state-of-the-art facility in Koblenz and are currently ridden by multiple World Tour teams, winning Grand Tours at the highest level of the sport. You get elite, wind tunnel optimized aerodynamics and premium components without the devastating retail tax. You aren't paying for a local retailer's rent and middlemen markups. You are paying purely for world-class German engineering shipped directly to your door. Number 4. Assos of Switzerland. In a market crowded with overpriced fashion masquerading as performance gear, Assos stands as the only ultra-expensive apparel brand that is actually worth every single penny. Yes, their Equipe RS and Mil GT bib shorts command a premium price tag of $200 to $300. But unlike Rapha, which focuses heavily on lifestyle branding, Assos is built on medical-grade function and borderline obsessive engineering. The magic lies in their legendary Swiss chamois inserts. Assos pioneered the patented Golden Gate technology, a unique construction method where the seat pad is not stitched completely to the side fabric of the bib. This allows the chamois to float seamlessly in 3 dimensions, moving perfectly with your body rather than grinding against your skin and causing saddle sores. But the real value of Assos is measured in its incredible durability. Real-world riders and ultra-endurance athletes consistently document Assos bibs, surviving 5 to 7 years of brutal, sweaty, 100-mile rides without the high-density foam ever collapsing. The Lycra maintains its compressive qualities long after cheaper brands turn sheer and saggy. When you divide the initial $250 investment by 5 years of pain-free riding, the cost per wear actually makes Assos the cheapest premium bib short in the entire cycling industry. You aren't buying a monochrome fashion statement for the coffee shop. You are investing in buy-it-for-life comfort that actually protects your body in the saddle. Number 3. Winspace, specifically their Lune Hyper Carbon wheels. This is the Eastern carbon revolution that completely shattered the illusion that you need to spend $3,000 to go fast. For a decade, Western legacy brands like Zip, Env, and Roval convinced amateur cyclists that aerodynamic speed was a luxury reserved for the wealthy. Winspace destroyed that narrative overnight. A set of Lune Hyper D 45 carbon-spoked wheels retails for exactly $1,399. For that price, you aren't just getting generic open-mold carbon. You are getting incredibly advanced filament-wound carbon rims laced with hyper-stiff, butterfly weave carbon fiber spokes. The engineering is so precise that these wheels carry full UCI approval, meaning they are legally cleared for use in professional World Tour racing. Independent wind tunnel data and mechanical stiffness tests prove that Lune Hypers perform identically to, and in some cases actually outperform, Western wheels that cost 3 times as much. Winspace bypassed the massive Western marketing budgets, skipped the expensive professional team sponsorships, and passed the pure manufacturing cost directly to the consumer. They forced the industry to admit that premium aerodynamics no longer belong exclusively to the legacy giants. The days of paying $3,000 for a set of hoops are officially dead. You aren't funding a massive Western advertising budget. You are getting wind tunnel tested, elite carbon fiber at its true, honest manufacturing price. Number 2. Shimano, specifically their 105 DI2 group set. This is the absolute trickle-down masterpiece of the cycling industry, a mechanical workhorse that renders top-tier components entirely pointless for normal human beings. Let's look at the financial absurdity of electronic shifting. Shimano's flagship, Tour de France-level Dura Ace DI2 group set carries a terrifying retail price of over $4,000. Meanwhile, the mid-tier 105 DI2 group set costs roughly $1,800 to $1,900. Here is what the elite weight weenies refuse to admit. Both group sets use the exact same wireless DI2 shifting protocol. They use the exact same internal motors. The shifting speed, the reliability, and the tactile feel are completely indistinguishable to a human rider. The only real mechanical difference is that Dura Ace utilizes exotic materials like titanium and carbon fiber to shed weight. The total weight difference between the $4,000 system and the $1,800 system is roughly 350 to 400 grams. You are literally saving over $2,000 by accepting the extra weight of a single plastic water bottle. Shimano's 105 has always been the gold standard for durability, famously outlasting the frames it is bolted to. With the addition of electronic shifting, it has officially bridged the gap between amateur reliability and professional performance. You aren't paying a $2,000 premium for professional bragging rights. You are buying 98% of World Tour performance for a fraction of the cost. Number 1. Van Rysel by Decathlon. This is the ultimate legacy destroyer, the brand that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that a hyper-elite, Tour de France winning superbike does not need to cost $15,000. For years, legacy brands pushed the narrative that achieving ultimate aerodynamic speed required an endless budget. Enter the Van Rysel RCR Pro Replica. Fully equipped with a top-tier Shimano Dura Ace Di2 group set, a power meter, and deep-section aero carbon wheels, this complete bicycle retails for roughly $6,999. Decathlon didn't just build a budget-friendly bike, they built a literal World Tour weapon. The Decathlon AG2R La Mondiale professional team spent the entire season winning massive, grueling races on this exact frame against riders on bikes costing twice as much. It completely humiliated the traditional market. It proved with undeniable racing data that a wind tunnel optimized, hyper-elite superbike actually costs about $7,000 to manufacture, and the legacy brands have simply been pocketing the other $7,000 as a massive logo tax. Decathlon used their massive global supply chain to eliminate the luxury markup, prioritizing raw speed over prestige. They proved that performance cannot be gatekept by price. Van Rysel proved that a $15,000 superbike is just a $7,000 machine with an $8,000 logo. In the modern cycling world, this is where the search for ultimate value ends. Across all 10 brands, one reality is clear. In the cycling world, you're either funding a marketing fantasy or investing in genuine engineering. Your bike deserves more than hype. Choose substance over status, and make every pedal stroke and every dollar count. Which side are you on? Let us know in the comments.